Buerki. I'm the author of Living Without Fear, the co-publisher of Inspired Journeys, and a book writing expert. I help you overcome your fears in life and writing your book. I offer a course called Believe You Can Write, and I support you with one-on-one coaching. Get in touch with me if you need help, or order my biography and self-help book, Living Without Fear. And please share this podcast with a friend who you know needs to hear this episode. And why not giving this podcast a 5-star review so that many more people will find this episode. And today I'm so excited to have Fiona Nicholls from Switzerland with me. Fiona is one of the 31 authors of the Amazon bestseller Inspired Journeys, and she's the founder of Swiss Tonic, a young brand of chemical-free skincare products that only use clinically tested raw ingredients. Fiona's huge success with Swiss Tonic is the consequence of a severe horse riding accident that had left her with a broken spine and ended her career as a horse breeder and professional show jumping rider. Fiona's intensive studies of ancient botanical plants and formulating skincare products have already resulted in 4 awards for the over 35 Swiss Tonic products, including the best-selling face serum, masks, exfoliants, moistures, body oils, soaps, and hand repair oils. Welcome to the show, dear Fiona.
Thanks, Esther. Thanks for the great introduction. Thrilled to be here.
Thank you. So, shall we start with your story with horses? Where did it start?
Horses were my entire life. That's actually the only thing I've ever done all my life. Competing and training, breeding horses.
Do you remember when you had your first horse?
I was literally born on a horse. My parents were riders. We had horses at home. We had stables at home. I rode, and then my sisters rode. My brothers a little bit. We're a totally horsey family, so that's where all that came from. And that dictated the rest of my life, which just continued on being horses, and nothing but horses.
Did you have a favorite horse?
I've had many horses, but we do have one special horse. And I had one who was called Barn Owl, who is really the horse of my life. But I have gone back into horse riding now just as a hobby since a year. And I have a new horse, a young horse, and I'm wondering if he might be the new horse of my life. I have some kind of magic with him.
Oh.
So anyway, the bar is set very high from the other horse, from Barn Owl, but we'll see in a few years.
Well, nice to hear. And so, what did you think how your career will be when you were 15 or 18?
For me, it was going to be my whole life in horses. I actually, when I was probably 13, 14, 15, I wanted to be a horse trainer. And my father had said, not letting you do that. It's too difficult as a life. It's too hard. And I'm so glad that he saved me from that, because training people, being an instructor, basically, that's what I wanted to be. An instructor is very, very hard work, long hours, badly paid, etc. But I still envisioned my whole life working with horses, doing something with them. That was it. There was no other option of any other business or getting a proper job. It was, for me, blind-sighted horses.
And why is it? What's special with the horse? I've never ridden.
You've never ridden?
No. What? Maybe for someone who doesn't have this affinity, what is so special about the horse?
There's something very magic about horses that we don't have with dogs and cats. There's some kind of telepathy that once you get to know your animal, you can really communicate by telepathy. And we don't have this with dogs. No matter how much time we can spend with the dog, we don't have this magic. Dogs are amazing too, but they don't have this. So you have that side of things with the horses, but then you have the sport. You also have the challenge with them, it is a wild animal. It is an animal of prey also, so they have their instincts. So it's a constant challenge, putting yourself in question all the time, and they can make you feel so amazing, and then they can just kill your spirits the next day by refusing to work with you or put you on the floor. It's so many things. It's so a very complete, and I'm very introverted person, so I think horses attract a lot of introverts as well, where people who don't want to spend a lot of time with big crowds and talking all the time. We can spend time with horses and not speak for days apart from communicating. There's that side of things too, and it does attract a lot of introverts.
Did you talk to your horse when you were in your puberty or so?
I always do, yeah. We talk to our horses, yeah.
Nice. So it's this communicator you use, and you don't get offended, you never get disappointed. So it's a best friend who is there, your best friend all the time, or
yeah, it's like a best friend, and you can go to the stables and you're having a bad day. Within 5 minutes, you're not having a bad day. They just take away any stress, any sadness, anything. You can also go to the stables and you're feeling ill, like I don't think I can ride today, and in 5 minutes you feel better.
wow.
There is a lot of magical powers, I believe.
Wow, that sounds beautiful. So you saw your career, you saw your life, and then what happened?
Then in 2017, I had this accident where I broke my spine. And up until then, I'd had a long life. I've had a lot of accidents. I've broken every part of my body and broken tendons and bones. It didn't bother me. I just was impatient to get back on the horse 3 months later each time. But the back, that was more serious, meant I had to stay lying down for a long time. And also, as I raised my daughter alone, being paralyzed, it really wakes up the possibility of reality of you being paralyzed when it's your back. And I suddenly feared being in a wheelchair, paralyzed, and trying to raise my daughter alone. It was just a really big shock to me. So yes, I had to lay down for a long time. So I knew that my career was finished overnight, because even if I got back by the end of the year, back to the horses, I had quite a few horses, competition horses. I couldn't maintain them while I'm lying flat on my back. I couldn't afford to keep them in training, stabling and things, until I got back. If eventually I did get back, if there was no complications, I wasn't even sure about that at that time.
What diagnosis did the doctors tell you first? That you are going to walk again, or wheelchair?
Yeah, no, I mean, it was pretty simple, clean fractures, but still, you never know. At that moment, so like guys with pain, and you come out of bed, you don't know. It all seems possible that you don't know what happens in a year if you're walking again, if you can ride again, because I've met plenty of people who've had accidents, but the after effects is too painful for them. They have too many problems, and the back is a serious place. So I didn't know. I really didn't know at that time.
And for long did you need to lie down?
Probably only 4 months, completely lying. Yeah, but then I could walk, but I could only walk around the house. I wasn't allowed to, do steps or go anywhere that I might trip, any uneven surfaces. So I had to stay very, very quiet if I was walking from room to room. So it was quite a while.
And how did you occupy your time back then? Tell me more about that, where the magic started.
Okay, well, the first 2 weeks was probably total self-pity, sadness, depression, disbelief that I was had to shut my business down and it was over. very, very hard time. And just not knowing, desperation, not knowing what to do with myself, feeling like I was in a black hole, not only with all this, with the pain I was going through, but just like I couldn't see a future. If I couldn't do something with horses, for me, there's nothing left for me to do. I'd done horses my whole life. I've never had a proper job. I've never been to university. I don't have references. So I'm basically unemployable. So if I didn't do horses, I couldn't see what I could do. I would, how I could look after my daughter and how we could not starve. It was really, really bleak few weeks. And I had to take
excuse me?
How old I was?
Were your daughter at the time?
My daughter, she was probably 10 at the time.
Mm.
So that was a couple of weeks very miserable. And I had to take the decision at that point to sell my horses, to send them to professionals to be sold on my behalf. So I didn't get to say goodbye to them. I didn't get to choose who bought them, which I usually was very, very strict to be sure that they went to the perfect home.
That must have been the most difficult moment.
Yeah, it was probably one of the most difficult moments in my life. It was really heartbreaking. It was horrible, but I didn't see I had a choice either. These competition horses are a little bit crazy, so they're not horses I could give to amateurs. I mean, there's hundreds of amateurs who'd love to ride horses, but they're not easy horses, and I don't want to create an accident, so I couldn't give them to amateurs. I had to give them to professionals, professional competition riders especially. So yeah, that was a really, really awful period. And then after a few weeks, I had to put my big girl panties on and start finding solutions. And I did, I must say, since a couple of years, and everyone was talking about internet, things like this, I did like the idea of having a business online. So I started looking, I wasn't very computer illiterate, but I started looking online at different ideas and what can I study online without having to go to a university, and was amazed at how many studies you can find online. I mean, I didn't know about all this. I spent my life outside in the barn, in the stables with the horses. And suddenly I'm discovering everything that's available on the internet and all these courses, universities and laboratory courses. And my second passion in life is botanicals and skincare. I used to make a little bit of a few products just for myself because I've got very sensitive skin. And
when have you started that?
This was making my own products
for your skin.
Oh, probably in about 2010.
Okay.
And that was just because I started understanding why my skin was getting irritated by everything I was buying, and I started just researching for myself by curiosity about labels and discovering that it was just like disgusting. Most of the stuff that was in these ingredients was either loads of water, and on top of that, lots of synthetic chemicals to preserve all this water, and lots of products, ingredients that make the product look nice, smell nice, and have a nice texture, but they didn't actually do anything for the skin. So it was all those kind of things that were irritating my skin. So I was making very simple products at the time just for myself and not even sharing them around me.
What kind of ingredients did you use back then?
Then just oils, basic oils, argan oils, and different nut oils. But I wasn't using them like I use in my ingredients today in their raw state. I was just buying what I could find in pharmacies and natural shops, which was still very good and healthy compared to a lot of these mainstream products. So I was looking into these internet courses to see what I could do to maybe go in that direction. As I knew quite a bit about chemicals and skincare, I thought maybe I could develop that, and maybe that could be a possibility. But that time I was thinking that maybe I could get a job later on once I become an expert in all of this. It would be a way to get a job, not to create my own company. That was something that happened later.
Wow. And Who helped you with your mindset? I mean, you were desperate. Tell us a little bit more. Who were your coaches to get to this standpoint? Because you just said, yeah, maybe I could make a living out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. This was also, mindset was something I don't think I'd even heard of it before until this point. And then, of course, I stumbled onto a mindset course with John Assaraf. And this was just like life-changing for me. All the doubts I was having that, I can't do this, or I wouldn't be able to do that, or that's too scary, or I'm not good enough to start a new career at whatever age I had, 40, I don't know if I was 44 or something. John Assaraf really, really helped me. And then I really got into mindset and neuroscience as well to understand that we can train our brains, because we're just wrongly programmed for a lot of our beliefs. So then I started getting into all sorts of people like Earl Nightingale, Simon Sinek, John Rowe. There's so many.
Mm. Do you remember, Fiona, what was your mantra, or what was your new belief you put into your brain? The first one, maybe, that I know they change from time to time, or from month to month.
I think it was something like, if we see it in our head, we can achieve it. What we can see in our head, we can achieve.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And then, how come that now you have over 35 products already?
Yeah.
And you got 4 awards already.
Yeah. So I plunged myself into, it's now been 5 years of just eternal work and research and studies, and I'm still studying. The more you learn, the more you realize you need to learn. So it's just, you probably know that yourself. It's just a never-ending learning curve. So at that time, I went very deep into studies, botanical studies and skincare studies, and unusual ingredients that have survived millions of years, that have these incredible properties that have just been forgotten about.
Can you name one?
One, moss Celtic. This is a moss that grows on a stone, on rocks, up in the Alps. It's survived 470 million years. And
wow,
why is it survived so long through drought and I think of words in French sometimes and I lose the English word. Canicule.
yeah.
Heat, extreme heat,
Yes.
heat wave.
And it still grows in the Alps in Europe.
Yeah. And flooding and drought and pollution, because this kind of plant has such incredible repairing characteristics to repair and adapt. And this is what we can take into skincare. So these kind of plants are just incredible, absolutely incredible.
And how do you get them now?
I work with a Swiss biochemistry lab in the Swiss-German part, who's specialized in all, stem cells and all these ancient plants.
Wow.
And it's them who are very leaders in their field for all this kind of technology, extracting these incredible molecules and enzymes out of these plants.
Wow.
These exceptional plants.
Sounds amazing. So in your products, there are plants who survived all the centuries with all our pollution.
Yeah. Every ingredient I'm using very potent oils, everything in their raw state, so that it keeps all the vitamins and minerals, enzymes that nature gave it, because once they're cooked, bleached and processed, they're pretty worthless. So I'm using those kind of oils, then extracts of plants, these unusual plants. So every single ingredient in my products has very potent qualities and does something amazing for anti-aging. They're all anti-aging plants and ingredients, because we're not getting any younger.
And do you remember, Fiona, when you lie in bed, did you see some of these products? Did you see them already? Or
after my accident, you mean?
yes.
Not so many of them. I initially saw just a very small brand of what I was creating for myself, which was a soap, a face cream or a serum, an exfoliant scrub, and a mask. I think that was all I was doing for myself. And I envisioned just selling those. But once I got deeper and deeper into my studies and realized these unbelievable plants that we can use, I wanted to do something a lot more high tech, a lot more potent. So when I created my brand, when I decided I'm not going to get a job being an expert for somebody else, I'm going to create my own brand, I just had those, I visualized those products. And then it took off after that, more and more products from there.
Wonderful. And if our listener, someone is thinking of something of doing for so long, but is scared of doing it, what would you recommend this listener?
I would say, first of all, go and listen to mindset. Find the person that resonates with you. There is a lot of good people out there, but you need to listen to a few to find the one that you resonate with. And I'd say that's the starting thing, because our self-doubts and fears are so handicapping. We need to get over that hurdle first, and then it shows us the way that anything is possible. Definitely mindset, yeah.
Beautiful. Anything is possible.
Anything. Say it. If we believe it, anything is possible. And yeah, I'm the proof.
And then the magic starts, and you have already been on a horse again.
Yeah, it's now been 12 months. I bought a young horse. I'm back on, but it's just a few times a week. It's a hobby. My back is absolutely fine, but I'm wearing an inflatable body protector now in case I do get flicked off. And I'm not quite as brave as before, but yeah, I'm happy to be back on and at least have this little hobby again. And the horse is a part of my life again. So this is great. Yeah.
Oh,
so
I'm so happy for you, Fiona.
Thank you.
And with your brand, Swiss Tonic, what is your vision for next year?
My vision is to keep growing. I'm selling now in 26 countries.
Wow.
I have
Congratulations.
Thank you. I have a team of about 14 people now working. So the idea is to keep growing, but to find a healthier balance for me, because now it's been 5 years basically working nights and weekends and also studying, and it's too much and too much stress. I need to learn to work smarter now instead of just unlimited time, because I've run out of hours or minutes to add anything else in now. So and as I am learning every aspect of the business as I go along, each new phase is completely new for me, as I don't come from a corporate background. I have to then learn this phase now, and then the next step, and I have to learn this. So now I'm going to try to learn to run the business without running myself into the ground. I'm on the good path, but I haven't conquered it yet. So that's my plan for next year: growth and calming down a bit.
Do you have some mentors still?
Yes. Yeah, I think that's something we should keep all the way along our path. We need mentors. A business mentor will help us set up our business, run our business by instead of us having to make all the mistakes and just testing, somebody to hold your hand and help you, give you advice. That's absolutely priceless. And then mindset as well. I do some meditation, and then I do I'll go through a week or two and I start to ignore doing some mindset or some meditation, and then I start to feel some fear coming on or some stress, and then I'm aware that I need to go back to it. It's It's something you have to maintain all the time, isn't it? You can't just fix yourself once and then get on with life. You need to maintain this mindset. So a mentor, yeah, priceless.
Talking about fear, what is your recipe, or how do you cope with your fears if they are popping up again?
My fears is listening to some mindset mentor. I will go straight back to, I've probably got about 8 different mindset mentors that I really like. So I will, as soon as fear starts creeping in, I can recognize it today. So as soon as it starts creeping in, I'll go back to listen to a podcast or a YouTube one that I've already seen, and I know that just helps you unblock these fears, but that you can't deal with your fears by yourself. We create such rubbish in our heads that we do need mindset mentors to help with this, I think.
Wonderful. What helps me with fear is asking myself questions. Is this fear based from my past, or is it some things I'm afraid it will happen in the future or so?
Nice.
And when I see that I'm in my past or in my future, I take myself back to the moment, and then I start with gratitude, what I'm grateful for, and then fear disappears.
Nice. Yeah, gratitude is a great one, isn't it? That works a lot. And another thing, I think, also saying to yourself, what's the worst case scenario? If it really all went bad, what's the worst thing that could happen? I find that quite helpful as well.
Beautiful. So some last words for our audience, maybe what else could help as well?
I think I've said everything.
Or what do you tell your daughter?
I've given up telling my daughter because she doesn't want to know. It seems like anything that comes from her mother is just not valuable. I've tried to get her into mindset stuff, and she's having her own teenage problems. And it would be very beneficial to her, lots of this mindset stuff, but she seems to have a blockage that she doesn't want to know. She knows it better. So I'm not being very helpful. I would love to be able to help her a lot more than she's letting me. So I'm not the perfect example there right now.
Yeah, so let's end this conversation with the belief that you can do all you want.
You can do anything you want. Just got to believe in yourself. Anything is possible. Anything, and a lot more than we think. We are capable of so much more than we believe, and it's fascinating what we're capable of, isn't it?
Yeah, that's beautiful. So thank you so much, Fiona, for having been here.
Thank you, Esther. Good talking to you.
And thank you, dear listener, for still being here with us. And thank you so much for sharing this podcast with someone who needs to hear this episode. Have an amazing day, and talk to you next week.